Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Welcome. Hey, Beartastic, Andrew, Pupaway and Roller McNutt. Hey, Brian. Hey, Shannon and Mitchell and Bearded Bucket and Yard Mullet. How are folks? Hey, Sir McSquishy, Fixter Jake and Bob. Continuing the Trident. We have some progress to make. So, hey, Doom. Hey, Little Brett. GJ and Steven and Ryan and Bill and Bloodcat. Hey, Pathetic Puma, don't knock it. We are going to kind of redo some of the gantry today. Scott. There we go. So the Vitali tap that I have on here has been, a replacement has been sent, so we're going to swap that out. This was a earlier production one. This is the new stuff. So we're gonna see how it compares. So, Fixture J, hit a snag on my 2.4 gantry rebuild. Need to change out a front idler, so working on that. Have fun. Hey James, hey Fresh Prince. Doing well, Positron and Trident are ready to be built. Nice. This is weird. I'm watching Steve's first Trident build on my TV and this stream, and my Trident kit is a few stops away according to DHL. Nice, very nice. What mods are we doing today? So we're going to continue working on the XOL Toolhead and the gantry stuff. Now, if you remember, so let's start taking this apart. Let's unbuild a little bit. And I'm going to start by talking a little bit about the positron, or the orbiter, not positron, I don't know why I said that. The orbiter and the toolboard for it. So what we discovered last stream, I don't know if that's going to be the best way to view it, or if I come around here and get a zoomed in shot from here. I think this is what we'll do. There we go. And we can print it over into the spot. So what we discovered last stream is that these standoffs that came with the orbiter were not long enough, or didn't seem to be long enough for the board to bolt right to them. And apparently, that's okay, because the printed part spacer for the board makes up for the space. So that was not necessarily an issue. Now, if you were not using a printed spacer in here, I'm told one or two hex nuts threaded onto the bolt here. You'd have to get a longer bolt. It might come with it, I don't know. But you'd need a longer bolt, and then one or two hex nuts, and then thread the standoff on would give you enough space. And I believe they said that the hex nuts would have come with the orbiter. So 4, here we go. Hey Kyle, hey Death Cube. From the land down under, welcome. Taco Tuesday. I have a 250 Trident frame, bed on order, just need every single other component. Nice. Yeah, like button is lonesome, that's for sure. Spent the day wrestling Modbus interface on the VFD to the ground. Ew, that doesn't sound fun. Okay, let's start taking this. Let's start unbuilding some of this so we can redo the gantry. Earlier stream I had some concerns about these caps. That's been fixed. So we'll get into that in a minute. Hey Derek. Hey Steve. Hey Catram. So part of this toolboard, Derek, thanks for the gifted memberships. Part of this toolboard is a printed spacer. Now this is not the orbiter supplied printed spacer. I printed it. It's very similar, but it's a whole lot taller. And I'm at a big disadvantage in over toolhead space on a Trident. So I tweaked it a bit. Hey, Skyrim. Hi from France, the SO6 Rally. Thanks for being here. So what I did, is, besides the obvious shortening the strain relief part, I embeefined it because this seemed rather minimal. It's decently, I mean, it looks good. It's got a clip that would go up here to hold the umbilical cord. But I made that spot thicker. I got rid of this void in the part just to add more plastic there, and I made it a bit thicker. You can see the whole thing is a bit thicker, and then I recessed the spots for the hexes into the back here, so to get another millimeter of thickness there. I just wanted this to be a bit more a bit beefier, and then when this comes in, the end of that zip ties right there, and this gives me just enough room on for the umbilical to move around underneath the top panel. I need to pick your brain at some point. I'm going to build a pancake trident using 3 Z steppers from the V0. That's been done quite a bit. The 350 by 350 that'll be a funny looking printer, but it'll be cool. Need help figuring out Z for the configurator. Yeah, I can help you there. I mean, you're basically, how long is are they 200 millimeters for the Z steppers? Just take that much out of the frame. But I can help, that's fine. Okay, so getting this out, moved out of the way, and then we're gonna pull the whole orbiter off of here and all. Hey Kenneth, installed my new Nighthawk cable today after breaking my old one with no strain relief. I installed a strain relief this time. Yeah, strain relief's a good idea. I'm hoping this works out well. I mean, that was attempt number 1. So, and this guy comes off. Is this all there is to pulling this out? Oh no, we got the ones underneath there too. Way under here. The ones where you need a ball end driver. 200 millimeters, I'm gonna name it flapjack. So just take the difference in the lengths of the lead screws out of the frame and you'll be fine. So take just the difference in the lengths of the lead screws that the frame is made for. So how long are those on a, what are you starting with? Are you scratch building? Okay, so Zoll is off, set to the side. Oh boy. There we go. I think these guys. Grab a hex tray. I'm gonna get the cut sizes from the configurator and send it off to Masumi. Hey, Ronnie. So if you recall, or if you weren't here for last stream, we ran into a clearance issue with the tap when I put the little belt retaining nuts in here, which I don't think are actually needed. So I could have gotten away with this setup. It would have worked fine. And I may not even install those in the next setup, but I'll be checking to see if it clears. But it was interfering with the carriage and would not allow it to bolt in correctly and move at all once it was in place. So So now we're gonna pull this out. We're gonna end up swapping these parts, but for right now, we're just pulling bits and pieces off. I hope I can find my little, where did I put the little printed part to hold the carriage. Should be right here. I forgot to confirm I had that handy and available. Where did I put that? It's got to be close. If it's not, we'll find it later. Or I'll find another one. Should have a few of them printed out and sitting around. Just a matter of figuring out where I put them. Well, for the moment, I'm just going to pull this off. So, pulling it off is no problem. Set that. Thought about putting a flat printer and calling it Roadkill Megatron. And yeah, this can come off. And you know, the last piece of my Flexi Spot desk finally shipped today, or at least I got tracking today. So hopefully that enables more progress on the other garage cleanup. And we're gonna loosen tension on our, there we go. Loosen tension on our steppers over here. Okay, now we've got room here. And I think we should end up, we were in a good spot with our, we're in a good spot with this stuff. Do I have a silver Sharpie out here still? Some sort, any sort of Sharpie I should be able to see. I'm gonna make some marks here to where I want the belts to go. Hey, Rod. So I'm just gonna go right along there. I should be able to see that. And that's right where I want it when I put these back in, when it's tight. Just something I can see. Minimize the amount of effort we need to put in getting this all back together. Okay, that frees up the rear here. So, you recall the way these are assembled, and pull that all the way out, I think. So this cap here holds a flanged bearing to support the end of the stepper shaft. This is 9mm belt. Yep, this is a mod. This is the CNC 9mm CNC Gantry mod by Double T, and this was provided to me by Fabrico. Okay, so these can come out. So this comes off of here, and see the concern I have is that bearing just falls right out of this piece. Okay. How much Z-bolt height would a 200 millimeter lead screw give? 150. It should be about 150. About. And what I had done to keep that from just falling onto the stepper was a bunch of shims here. And that's not a great idea. It was a pain to assemble, and I don't have the exact height there. So if this was to work its way down, it's going to be partially supported by this printed part. It wasn't great. So Double T was on last time we worked on this and saw that issue and sent me some files. But by his own admission, they weren't perfect. What he had sent me was a part that puts a flange bearing here and then had 3 screws, flathead screws with some countersunk holes to just the edge of the screw was holding the bearing in. So yesterday, because that's when I prep apparently for Tuesdays, yesterday I opened up the files sent me and looked at that and thought, there's got to be another way we can do this. And it's one of those instances where I had an idea and I was pretty proud of it. So the challenge is to make sure that this bearing won't work its way loose, right? So I got the idea, and I'll just show you, I'll just flat out show you, to model this up. So instead of pushing in from the bottom, and is this the correct one? No, this is. Instead of pushing in from the bottom, I mean, it pushes in from the bottom, but the flange doesn't let it sit flat, I decided to push it in from the top, okay? So nothing too groundbreaking there, right? It's there, whatever. But what I thought was fun to design and cool is a printed circlip. It goes in here now and locks that in place. It is not coming out. It's simple, it's quick, it's easy to take out later, and it serves the purpose with no additional hardware. This is the kind of thing that I really enjoy about 3D modeling. Is to be able to think about even the most simple or minor problems and coming up with ideas for little solutions, little problem solving. So, hey Vitali, welcome. So yeah, that clicks in. There's geometry in there to where there's a groove and it holds into place, and then you can use, just like any other circlip or snap ring, you can use either tweezers or an actual snap ring pliers tool to get that out. So, engineering chaos, just had oral surgery. Ew, thanks for being here. I'm gonna be doing that later this month in about 2 weeks. Modding switchwire Z-bearing block for MG and 9H rails currently. Fun. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Now let's find out if there's something major I missed, because that's a sinking feeling when you realize, oh no, I forgot about that. But we will see what happens. So this can go back up in here. Down on there, and then this should set right in there. It's there. I also made this piece a millimeter thicker because which means I can take these little washers out I had thrown some washers on here. The washers wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't be a bad idea to have them anyway. But the amount of threads in the stepper was too much. It was 5 millimeters, and you can't count on 5 millimeters to be available in these steppers. So. Red Sky. But yeah, that's pretty much flush with the top of the flush in the bearing, almost fully engaged in the bearing, but no more. And that bearing's not going anywhere. So I'm happy. Had a bone fused on my foot. Or just no walking. That's not fun either. So I'm not going to tighten these down yet. Just to bottomed out. Had any experience with the BTT Pi 2? I have. I've installed the Pi 2 and the CB2 on printers. Okay, and then we'll do this other side, and then we'll get back to the tool head. But yeah, here's this is the one I modified, the one on the right here. It's all the same. It's a thicker top, and then you can see the groove geometry in there. It's just to support the end of the stepper shaft, yes. So we can run, so that will allow us to run more belt tension. Do I not need the belt on the pulley? It is. The on this setup, Joey, the belt comes in here and wraps around and goes out here. So it is down in there. It's right there. I don't know. There, you can see it there. Linux images are still work in progress, but they fixed the clone MAC address issue. Oh, I didn't know there was an issue. Mine just worked. I've had them on since March or April. Before Rocky Mountain, because the Legacy that I have the CB2 in, I finished right before leaving for Rocky Mountain. What belts are these? These are the GT3. These are Gates, but they're the GT3 belts. Power Grip GT3. Hey, BBs. If you're noticing, yes, they are all black instead of the typical brown or whatever in the... Yep, see, that one just stayed right there as well. Pull that out, and I had put a couple of thin shims on this one. So we'll take that out. If you had both on at once, they wouldn't connect because the MAC address was identical. They used a demo image from the chipset manufacturer and didn't sanitize. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm not sure that I've had both on at once. Yeah, I'm not sure I have. And once again, this just drops into here. And then clips here. Now there is a top and bottom to this because there's a large chamfer on one side. So the flat side goes up. Drops right in, just like any other circlip. I have it connected to the Pi 2 and set up as an MCU and it's still upset. I'm sure it's a me problem. Can't work out why. Yeah, I don't know. I basically followed Esoteric's, make sure that's lined up. CAN guide when I was setting it up on, the Pi 2 is on Phoenix. And yeah, like I said, the CB2 is on my Legacy. Okay, so that's there. Wires going that way. I am so much happier with this setup. That bearing is going to stay in place. Not going to cause me any troubles. No, GT3 in this case is the belt series. You're thinking 2GT, which is, it's really confusing because Gates has a naming convention that's even different between the source of it. So if you think of it more like 2GT is the 2mm pitch GT2 series belts, and this is just the GT3 series. It's still a 2mm pitch. Did I explain that well enough? So what's the main difference? There's some construction or material differences that basically make these stiffer. I don't know the details of what the difference is. In general, if you're building a typical Voron or whatever, you probably want to stay with the GT3. If you're going for higher tension setups like this, if you're building a typical Voron or whatever, you want to stay with the GT2, the 2 series. If you're building something like this where I'm wanting to go higher tension, the GT3 I think is a good idea. So, yeah, and that is. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get a focus there. Come on. There we go. It's right there at the, yeah, that's exactly flush. That's exactly flush. That's perfect. Close enough to flush. Okay, so one of the nice things, so if we look at this, this is the raw machined aluminum, very pretty. I'm going to swap all these parts over. That's the tap I have. Vitali is revising and refining his manufacturing techniques. And now they are a nice media blasted satin look. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, that is already together. Let's look at, see if we can see some of the differences here. There is some different clearancing here versus here. Yeah, there's a bit of difference in thickness that at that point. Plus it's reliefed a lot higher than the old one. Go ahead and start pulling this stuff apart and transfer the printed parts over. I don't have to be quite as careful to be in shot. I think you should have went with GT2 belts. You won't be able to proper tension the GT2 belts with the stock 2020 frame. The extrusions can't handle it. I think it's only an issue with all-wheel drive belts. Okay. So like Nuno is kind of mentioning, this is a case where I bought belts because they were new and I'm using them, but the proper use may not be these for your build. So don't just go out and buy. Check into what you're buying and why. Yeah. I can definitely see especially on a 2.4, at a certain point, your belt tension is going to impact your gantry. This crossbar on the back, you have to have it very well attached to keep that from wanting to squeeze together. Would you recommend a 180 micron kit to a beginner? Well, there's a wide range of beginner. Defining beginner can have a very broad definition. If you are used to building things and are comfortable with the build, then sure. It's similar to any other Core XY printer as far as the build. It is 1515. It is a little more fiddly. It comes with that. So if you're not comfortable with it, then I might suggest one of the more traditional 2020 based printers. Found a kitty a few days ago. It's 6 to 8 weeks old. Did any problems with the V0.2 FRS? There's no filament. Oh, we were having that on my Duet V0 with that filament sensor. I'm not convinced it's tuned or there's probably a range of print settings and parts that need to be right for that to be reliable. Okay, so that, and then we've got the other part here. Hey, Mad Cat. Hey, Brent. CNC Tap or PCB clicky? I'm undecided for the 2.4. Myself, I'd probably do this. This Vitali. For CNC Tap. PCB clicky is fine. I'm running clicky on my Mercury 1 and it works great. So, but I'm a fan of the Tap setup in general, printed or CNC, and I've had good luck with the Chaotic Lab. Both the V1 and the V2. So. Okay. Got this. Let's bring this down a little bit. Okay. CNC Tap different for 6 versus 9mm belts. Yes, it is. It is different. Essentially, I've been going crazy thinking I've done something wrong. Yeah, I think that filament sensor on the V0 probably requires a pretty narrow range of things to be correct in order to work reliably. That's in there good because it got wedged in as it should have. What did I do for that last time to make that? Here, I've got a spot I can gently pry on. Right there. There we go. Okay. How well does this fit onto here? Similar. I kind of push this up through here. Yeah, just kind of pushing it up inside there seemed to work last time, and it seems to be working this time too. It's going in flush. Just like that. I think it just made it easier to line it up instead of trying to line up all three and everything straight, just pushing it up from the bottom. There's no residue or anything like I pushed shavings of stuff. It looks like it went in well. I don't have any concerns there. I do want to refresh the is the updated June 2024 Cyber, I don't know. It just came out. Just came out. I don't know much about it. I think I could get one, but I don't have room in the schedule for one. And I'm trying not to bring on projects that I'm not ready for, since I have so much going on right now. Something I've been thinking about, one of the things I'm going to work towards is getting these Tuesday streams as very optional. The intent of these was to catch up on stuff I wanted to cover, and been doing them for 7 months now. Or almost 7 months. And it's served that purpose. Appreciate all the comments. I'm about to pull the trigger. Just got no experience with all-wheel drive, so slightly worried about how the part will play out. It looks good specs-wise. Is there a, do they advertise that as a full bed print area? And if they do, does it actually hit the full bed print area? That was a concern I had. I think I saw someone comment on it that the front steppers might prevent reaching the corners, those corners of the bed. Well, I said optional, not gone, Ryan. So the idea is I wouldn't be looking for content to, I wouldn't be seeking out content for Tuesdays. It would be the stream day that I could, cover something on. Let's bring these over. Front steppers kill 10 millimeters in the corners. That seems reasonable as far as, that doesn't seem like a whole lot of space to lose. I feel like that needs more threads. Is this thicker here? No. But I think I probably have the wrong screw here then. I have a 4 millimeter. Probably want a 6 millimeter. I have a 4 millimeter. I probably want a 6. Just put these. There we go. Front side of the printing plate will lose a certain area. Okay. Oh. Do. So it's probably worth holding off till all of the US batch 1 people find all the issues for them to fix. Like tinned wires. Oh, they have tinned wires? What's up with that? Hey Liz, welcome. That's probably really good advice there by Bearded Bucket. Okay. That is those parts. Can go off to the side and just be pretty shelf decorations now. What belt idlers do you use in this build? Are they from Fabrico? No. I got the correct ones from Double T directly. So these are gates with a revised shaft here. There's a revised facer, whatever thingy. And then gates pulleys. And sure, that's what you're talking about, right? Since that is something that needed to be changed. Okay. So I'll grab belts here. Oh, I actually need the things now. It does not work the same way. So I will need those clamps. And that, I'll be able to estimate the position of the belts. It'll be close enough, but. In fact, the all-wheel drive with 9mm GT3 belts is also concerning. There's the reasons I said before. After the last round of Big GT, a lot of people got burned, basically paid good money to be beta testers. The Eddie and CB2 Pi 2. Is the CB2 Pi 2 just a image thing? Because I might not be up to speed, but I hadn't heard anything about anything that would require hardware be replaced. Am I just not up to speed on that? Go right there. Go right there. And then these guys, put it in this side just to help me not to have to keep track of as many bits. Is that the screw? What size screw is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be a 6 or this longer screw? There's only one of them. What size screw is this supposed to be? That's too long, so I'm guessing a 6. And 3x6, thank you. Okay, so that's there, and that's there. That is even. Go. Picked up CM4 modules for our builds and G2E extrusions. Got some Gates 9mm from Philistruder when I ordered 6mm ones. They fixed it though without issue. Yeah. Tim over there is a good guy. There we go. 20-volt power was popping on some boards. Really? Interesting. I hadn't heard about that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, that's even. There we go. And then, so another change, it appears, is for the screws that attach the back plate here to the carriage are now countersink flatheads. These would have been button heads. This is going to force everything to center up on the carriage. AAP Design and Machine. So I'm glad that I went ahead and swapped this, because we're learning a lot about the little changes that were done on this from my early production 9mm carriage to the current ones. It could have been dumb users not connecting them right, but the issues seem to have gone away so long as you don't get one with a whiny step down. They seem good enough. Okay. Mine appears to be, I haven't had any issues with it. I was able to configure it fine. I am interested about the MAC address thing, and I will see. I will have to power up my two printers with those in and see what happens. But like I said, the only things I had was some confusion on can setup, and just going through the same steps as the esoteric guide. I was able to make it through just fine. Now it's time I need to find my little dummy rail for the MGN9 piece. Okay. Some stiff. But while we do this, we can probably get our just get that started. Just get the belts here tensioned a bit. Some of these so we can move it. Go. There. Nope. That's part of the problem. So get all the belts up onto the seated where they need to be seated. Yep, that's why that was extra hard to move things around. The belts aren't sitting on the pulleys, on the bearing stacks and the pulleys properly. So loosen that up and get everything moved into its spot. There we go. Oh, that one's off. Ah, much better. More weight, perhaps. Is there any downsides to running metal motor mounts and idlers on a V2.4? V2.4 does rely on some flex in the gantry, but I don't know that it's actually a problem stiffening that up or not. I am running metal gantry on my original V2. I have the Chaotic Lab full CNC parts kit on it, but I also haven't used it much. Okay, everything's in place now. I'm going to see what this is. It is. I got the long voice so I can get in here. And this is just a initial tensioning. Then we're going to look up what our belt tension should be. Max, how you doing? Hey, Reth, welcome. Okay, so that should be really close. Hey, Christian. This heat just puts me to sleep. Air conditioning. Week 2 of single parenting. Ew. Why is that even doing okay, I think, on tension? Way off. Why is this so far off? Am I off by I might be off by a tooth. You ran out of black ABS? How is that possible? I think because this is tensioning on the back, I've got my my trained instinct for tightening backwards, and I was making it worse. Oh, I'm not positioning that. I'm not trusting it, Max. I'm getting it close, and then we're gonna look at actual tensions and such. But at the same time, this is all machine parts up against machine parts. So it should be, this reference point here should be the same on both sides. So. Well, let's see where we are as far as tensions. are quite tight. Let's see what we actually are measuring. And then we'll look up what they, approximately what they should be. A little over 3. Let's look this up. So, what do we want? PF makes belt tension. It's a little too tight. Let's look it up. Let's go to the West 3D. This is where I bought it. So let's go here to get the link for, is there a link hopefully for instructions? Detailed instructions, visit the GitHub page. Here we go. They are, oh, these are the GT3 belts, Reth. I self-sourced and printed one of those belt tensioner tools, and I don't know how I ever lived without it. It's a nice little thing, nice little tool. Let's go to the manual and tension meter. There's an assembly manual. Let's look at the tension meter. This was updated last year. Did I save this somewhere? Bottom of the page should have had it. Did I save this out here? Let's download this. Save it to the, just save it right here. Open. Here we are. Okay, let's go down. Tension meter, measure along about 150 millimeters of space. There are some tables down here. So, for an AB, all my models, max tension for 6 millimeter, 9 millimeter. Static belt tension, a meter reading, we're above this 6 pounds. Meter reading for EPDM. Are the GT3s EPDM? Or is that the high temp ones? EPDM is the high temp ones, right? So do I still go by the neoprene? Who the hell is running GT3? Maybe. I might have bought enough of it to put on this to try it out. What are we? These are we're supporting the shaft on this. So where should we be at? Where should we be at? You have a suggestion, Ref? How do we figure out with supported shafts? So unsupported, these will, I mean, you'd want to stay under 7.5 pounds if your attachment point is way down here, and then the 3.4 if it's up here, right? I would go standard. What is standard? You said standard. What is standard? Whoa, is there somewhere here that says standard? You're telling me to go standard, but is there somewhere here that actually says standard? Standard is GT2 for neoprene. I'm GT2 for neoprene. This is just giving a reading versus pounds, but this is saying, I'm not gonna leave this at 1.8 or whatever. The whole point of this is a higher tension setup. So. Go with the 2.0 reading? No, I'm not going with 2.0. Okay, let's just get out of here. Let's go back here. 2.0 is less than I run on my regular printers on this. Let's see where we're at on this other side. It is a little too high right now. It's all the way up at 3, but from the wet side, adjust preload screw as needed until the meter reads consistently across several measurements. Yeah. Hey, Kudrith, thanks for becoming a member. I like my belt soft and fluffy. Well, the whole point of this setup is to run higher belt tensions. So, okay. So I brought it down to 3, which is probably high. I agree. But let's see how it is over here. So that one's a little less at 2.8. Yeah, this is double supported. See, that's the thing I showed you earlier. That's the part I sent you a picture of. Now, there's a good point that we should start low and build up and do tests once we get it running. We're all waiting for someone to really, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. But you're right. I will run on higher than I normally run on my other printers, but I'm not going to go super high to start out. I need to adjust my pulleys at the back too, to line up with the bearings, but which is the one? This one was high. So I'm going to loosen the tension on that a little bit. And it's more really looking at seeing even values. So we're staying about 2.8 there, but we need to move this one down a bit more. And CMX, have a good one. Well, that's a good point too, Steve. Tighten it till it cracks and back off a turn. It's right at the 2.8. That's down to 2.7. I kind of want to match that 2.7, I think, where I want to be. Thanks, Ghostly. I had the Outrun theme before Zombie had the Outrun theme. That's getting there. That's right at 2.7. Torque to yield, then half a turn up to that. Oh, and that one goes down, so we need to up this one a bit. Zombie doesn't even know who Trident is. I'm glad you're here, Zombie. Over 2.7. Hey, K2 Kevin, welcome. Some sort of 80s theme was the point, and my wife was the original. She said an 80s color theme, and then talking to Jared, talking about kind of an Outrun theme, and that's kind of where it originated. Hey, William. Thanks for being a member. When are we going to get an all-wheel drive Voron build? That's a good question. I don't know. It's 2.7. It's 2.7. I'm going to leave that right there. Still moves a bit there. So what is keeping that from being actually lined up? We are off. So at similar belt tensions, we are at different spots in the tensioner, which tells me, gives a hint that the belts may not be attached at the same length. Need to get some. Needs a little more neon pink. Well, we've got a bit in the tool head too, so. It's teal as the main color, and then between pink and purple for the accents. But I lost a lot of colorful parts going with the CNC Gantry. Anyway, going back to this, since I'm seeing a difference in just looking at the slots here. I think that this belt, the top belt, is longer than the bottom belt. So I need to fix that. Which means loosening this back up, pulling an extra tooth out of here, and then tightening it back up to near equal tension, and seeing how it comes out. So this is part of kind of, if you didn't perfectly measure where your belts were, which apparently I didn't, paying attention to things like this can be an indicator, of whether your belts are the same length or not. These shafts on these steppers are extra long. They're not extra long enough to go with the regular setup, which just has a bearing up here flush. So there's a recessed part and then a custom designed circlip that I made. Okay, so we are going to loosen this all up, and then I'm going to pull a tooth on the top belt. Which I know this is taking a lot of time to do all this, but this is kind of important for the overall build. So then I'm going to get an eye on this, and we're going to loosen one side here. And I probably will need to loosen the gantry on here as well because, well, let's see. I might not have to. Oh yeah, I was able to pull a tooth without loosening the gantry. That's good. That's a nice thing about this setup. I think I would have had to loosen the carriage off the gantry with the other one I had on here. Does it really matter, or does it matter to Steve? It will make a difference in your input shaper results. So if you're chasing your graphs, if you're chasing unicorns, then this could be like one of those where you'll never get it right because your belts weren't the same length, right? So you'd be chasing it futile. It'd be futile to change it. So let's see if I made that adjustment correctly. Adjust these slowly. Good. Yes, it is a good color scheme for chasing unicorns. Let's see how this is. Hey, Daniel, welcome. What does 9mm belts provide over 6mm? The ability to go more tension, basically, right? Thanks for being a member for so long, Daniel. I want to check something here because I keep having this issue with this side further off, and I kind of want to loosen all tension on my belts and see where we're at as far as the attachment points on the carriage. So these are really loose now, and we should, yeah, so they touch at the same time now. So it's not these are correct. This is all bolted together fine. No bottom panel. Prototypes could do a peachy theme build plate. What's that? Once I tape the belts to the wall, I'd just be sure their lengths were the same. Oh. Now I really want a tool changer. I'm supposed there's a way to fit a tool changer on a Voron Zero. Go check out the Printers France stuff. The Hills have FPV. There's some cool projects in there. What's this? Am I still? It is a little off. Loosen these and retighten them. Peachy folders. Probably, but I could also be, I might not just remember it. Zombie, yes, no bottom panel. And Steve, thank you for being a member for a year. Okay. Now, let's tighten this slowly on each side. Okay, so that's touching. Now, huh, interesting. Those different length screws. I wonder if they are. I think my little tension screws might be different lengths, because at the same spot on the tensioners, one catches threads and the other doesn't. Okay, so everything is good. Everything's ready in the right spot. Okay. That's a lot better. A lot better than it was. After my honeycomb wall print and it layer shifted. Oh no. James Christie, thanks for being a member. Okay, so now looking at where these are they showing a similar amount of, this one's showing more. That's weird. So I pulled a tooth from the top belt, which shifted the stepper over. But instead of now this one being, so it's like half a tooth off. I can't do half a tooth off. So where else might half a tooth be impacted? where else might half a tooth be impacted? Because it's different again. I don't know if you can see from the light, but I've got a bigger gap here than here at, let's see if there's similar belt tensions. Just make sure everything is settled. Let's see what tension we're at now. It's 2.6. That's 2 point. Oh, okay. So that's actually in line. So I need to actually pull this one further. So that might not be true. They're not even, so I can't really say anything until they're even. Slightly different path length due to lack of symmetry in the gantry. There we go. No, the belt tensions weren't even, so I need to check that first. I need to check this at, that's 2.7. And that's 2.7. Now they are very, very close. Yeah. Thanks, Daniel. Merch Designer Fund. It's a little bit, which is bugging me. So yeah, it could be something in the frame. But these are very close to even. Now, this isn't going to be a great measurement, but what is our, just for fun. $578. Sure, that's even over there. 578. You can always fix it better after running shake and tune. Yeah. That is right on 578 corners to corners, both sides. So as far as that's concerned, it's corner to corner, it's square. Okay, well, we will see where that ends up. I do feel better about my gaps there. They are much closer to even with an extra tooth pulled out of this belt. And I can always tweak it later and see where we're at. But I have things that I can look back at, right? So things that I can look back on now, noted in the build, and we'll see if we can point back to any of that in the final result, I guess. We are doing Polymaker filament giveaway in about 20 or 41 minutes. So be sure to, links in the pin post or the description. And we have a nice number of likes right now, but we probably need to have not as nice. A higher number is nicer, but not as nice. I've had skew on the x-axis due to the brackets pushing against the Y rails, kind of jammed in, causing a skew. Brackets against the Y rails. Well, all of these are flush to the frame. It was, exactly. Yeah, everything is touching. And I spent a lot of time making sure this height was perfect on both sides. Everything's flush. Oh, wow. We got 32 likes in just that couple of minutes. Good job, everyone. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it right now, though. We got to put this back on. Where is my little printed piece for that? Because I just had it. feel like I put it in here. I feel like I had to have put it in here. Guess I didn't. Where is that little alignment guide? Where? Oh, there it is. Woohoo. Okay. Get this guy on here. There we go. Which got to be that way. It's on there. And then the nice new, oh, and this uses, I think this is a change as well. Yep. Is that the right piece? Yeah. So instead of a flat surface for button heads, this uses countersink screws as well. And this is the test to see if these are, the spacing is correct on this. Yep, all better. Good job, Vitali. You fixed it. It is the Vitali 9mm tap, CNC tap. Now I have another fun part here. We'll see if we end up using this at any point. But this is the rigid mount. And then these are cool. If I ever swap out the steppers to longer shaft steppers, then I can use these. And these would go on the over here to hold that top bearing, but this is not, won't work with the steppers I have. Can I ask when is the giveaway? I have to step out for a bit. Hate to miss it. It is at the 2-hour mark on these streams. So 35 minutes from now, Kyle. 35 minutes from now. I did save, I have input shaper results for this, and I think we ran it. Before I started this series. Thanks, Arthur. Yeah, works fine. So, see if we can get. Now, do I want to? Oops, it's gonna come out there. Well, let's see how this fits first, because we did have some spacing concerns with how this fit last time. So let's put this on first and then start thinking about how we are going to wire it, run the wires. Has clicky and other options. Cool. Mount, moment of truth. Yep. So this is all going to go in here. All the cool color combos you got going on. So this comes in here. There's still that gap. And I don't know. I'm assuming that could be the printed part. But remember that gap we had last time as well. Everything else lines up, but that's not quite right there. There is a gap there, and I don't know if it's printed part. We would have to look at, we can probably test this real quick. Let me bring up Fusion and see how it compares. See what this distance should be. We should be able to measure this distance on a plastic carriage, and oh, you know what? I could. I don't know if this could be. Yeah, that doesn't really move back. This only gets held on with that little part there. CNC Gantry arrived yesterday. Much bigger when you zoomed in. I thought it just hadn't been clamped down. Yeah, no, it's not a clamped issue. I don't know if it's a stack up of parts issue. It could be the tolerance stack up of the parts. Let's pull this off. So if you look here, this is all correct. But what we can do is we can take a measurement of this surface here to this surface on the plastic parts. And if it matches here, then the problem has to be in this piece. So let me open up Fusion. Suspended on the other computer. Continue. I'll switch over screens once I know where I'm at in Fusion. It shouldn't have a gap. My XOL with Flex Tap didn't have any gaps. We are checking. We are checking and determine where the issue is. Let's just bring up what should be. All of this stuff has been the same for a long time, but yeah. Easy CAD to get to is going to be Afterburner. Yeah, that'll be the easiest CAD to get to. Okay. Oh, and of course I grabbed the one without the carriage. Why doesn't that have the carriage? You have another tap on hand. Not super handy, and I kind of want to take anything I have would be CNC. So let's isolate that. Here we are. So this measurement here between this surface and this surface is what we're concerned with. And if I hit I for info, we can measure this, and that should be 7.8 millimeters between those. Doesn't matter what it is, this distance between it, no matter what else is going on here, this distance should be the same. And that's 7.8 millimeters. So let's take a measurement. Let's just get a rough. It's 7.5. Let's get this as close as possible. Yeah, it's 7.5 millimeters. So I think we still have a concern with this. I think there's still an issue with it, Vitali. This is 7.5 millimeters. And if you can check, maybe check your CAD that you're going off of. That would be a good check. But that would be consistent with this gap. I would bet that this gap is about 0.3 millimeters. All of this in here and tightened up. Yeah. Okay, let's get these parts on here though. Because this will bolt against the bottom here. Bolted in. And what was that, a 30 millimeter screw? Did I put the other one over here? Add black oxide. Yeah. Can you print a shim? I could. I don't think it's needed. I don't think it's going to matter. It's not going to flex. So this part, so there are, here. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to actually be an issue here. I think the part probably needs to be correct. These two screws go into the lower part of the plate, and that's all tight. There are an additional couple of screws that hold the orbiter mount to this back plate here, and that bolt to this back plate here. What do we got? It's less, so shouldn't the part be closer, not further? Am I thinking about this wrong? No, you are thinking about it right. It's 7.5 and that's supposed to be 7.8. You are thinking about it right. So what's different? No, you're right. It should be closer. So that doesn't make sense. But there is a difference. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. That's wires crossed in my brain. I'm going to tighten this up and see where we end up then. Yeah, sorry about that. That's me getting the wires crossed on tight versus loose. I want to ream out that hole because it is threading plastic. It's threading into plastic, and that means that the screw is not lining up to the threads in the, it's not going to line up to the threads in the CNC part, and I don't want to cross thread it. So I am going to see if I can ream this out just by hand. No, I had it wrong, Bittered Bucket. But there's still a difference. Or I'll explain in a second here, Vitali. It was, but I had it backwards when I was explaining it earlier. I don't have enough length to get in there with the drill. I don't know where my little pin vise is. Let's see if that's going to work. Let's see what this does when we tighten this up. Oh, crack. So I cracked something. Here, let's go here. So Vitali, I see a gap of maybe 0.2 to 0.3 millimeters. What's weird, and I'm not thinking right, but this surface here, this is the Voron plastic carriage. This distance between these two surfaces is 7.8 millimeters. 7.8 millimeters. What we measured on the CNC version is 7.5 millimeters, which shouldn't create a gap. It should have the opposite, right? Except I cracked something. Oh, I see what I cracked. I see what I cracked. Somehow it pulled it in and it cracked it right there next to that button head. It should actually have the gap should be in the front here, not in the back. So I'm not sure exactly why that's happening here, but the CNC part is 7.5 millimeters and the CAD is 7.8. This is fully tightened now. This is all sturdy, but I'm gonna have to reprint that part. When I put Zoll on one of my printers, yeah. I think it's gotta be it might be a lineup. Do they have CAD on the, let's look at the, do they have CAD available on the Zoll? I'm sure, I hope they do. Let's find out. XOL Toolhead GitHub. CAD. Assemblies. What is this? Assembly guide. Let's see what this is. Download this. Let's investigate. gray, and let's just throw it in here. And let's extract this. Extract that there. What do we have in here? There's a step file. Let's go here and here. Let's go to community projects, and let's do, here, let's just throw it in here. Upload. Select the file. And upload it. Give it a second. That is, so there, I don't know what the, like I said, I don't know what the stack up of things is causing that to have a gap instead of the opposite. So the purple part there, the thickness of the little tab that comes in, the thickness of this little tab, oh come on, this little tab right here would have impacted the thickness of that. So you got that purple piece and then the pink piece as your bits there. That's still uploading, so. At least it's just that for the crack. That's an easy part to replace, to reprint, replace. And Crowtech. What do we got? 17 minutes until giveaway time. $17 minutes. How's the XOL build? Well, we're investigating some things right now. I got one cracked part when I tighten these screws, but we've got a stack up of dimensions here that's odd. Where did you get the electric components for the Milo? Did you cut all the wires and source the motherboard? I did not. I built an LDO kit. Now, Bill here, if you're talking to Bill, then he's self-sourced. He might be able to answer. This is still uploading. It says it's about halfway done. Is there a way to tell if the Bowden tube is vertical between the two parts or offset by that same gap? I don't know if that's an easy, I guess I can pull it out. Well, it came out pretty easy. If that was being offset by any significant amount, you can't really, anything gradual is not going to be it. Hey Brent, good morning. Building an engine, fun. So, can't paste the picture I sent to you over Discord. Okay, oop, lean it that far. Let me see, let me check Discord. $7.8. I measured 7.5 for that measurement. Vitali? Okay, that finished uploading. So let's look at the XOL Toolhead in CAD. Okay, what do we have here? Carriage and hardware. That's not what I want. This is the XOL Tap, but we should still be able to get some bit of, oh, it's not, here, let's see, this might not help us, darn it. Let's just show all components, and show all bodies, and make sure nothing in here is hidden. This is not the, this is their carriage, which I think we can't rely on, right? Because there's a different part. There's a different part for the tap version versus their carriage version. So let's see if maybe double T, the clips worked great. I'm very happy with them. Tell me where I get this awesome 9mm belt idlers. Oh, let's go back here. And was there anything else here? Parts. Ooh, here we go. Maybe we can do it from this. We need the Orbiter Tap. So we need this part. So let's download that. And let's just throw it in here. And then we need the hot end mount Rapido high flow. Download. Those are the only two parts I think we need to determine where we're at. So let's save those and then let's upload those. Those two. Open and upload. I think you can do next, unscrew a single bolt that holds extruder adapter, screw it tight to the tap, then tighten single bolt. So here's the Orbiter 2 mount. So this is that. This goes like that. That's our Orbiter 2 mount. And we're gonna drag in our Rapido setup just as a piece here. And of course they're not, but we're just gonna 90. That's about how they're gonna be. It's not exact. Say, okay, now this is going to be harder to see. So let me move this out of the way so it's easier to see what I'm doing. So move that out of the way and say, okay. And I'm just going to click on this and hit V to turn it off just so we can see the parts as they are better, right? I want to align, so I'm going to go to modify and align, and I'm going to align let's just align this curve here. So if I hover over that line and then hold down Control and click on the center point here, that's going to take the center of that curve, and I'm going to align it to the corresponding piece right there that it should, I'm guessing, line up with. And then we can sight down this and see if we are correct on those. Or we can go. What is it? Yeah, it looks correct. Everything is centered and centered along there. Filament path, I wasn't sure if there was a gap there. So I didn't want to align on the filament path because I wasn't sure if there was a gap between them. I could do it. You're right. I could do it. Here, let's undo this. And let's align this cylinder. So I know this is hard to see. So the cylinder, not clicking on the ring or the center, but clicking on the cylinder and clicking on the cylinder up here. And that should line those up. And if we look at them, they are lined up. And then we click on just this surface. Select, oh, come on. Let's say okay. And then I don't know why, you can usually chain alignments, but click on just that surface and then this top surface, and that will line it up as well. Say okay. So now these parts are together, they're lined up. What we're looking at then is this distance between this plate and this, right? And of course, they're not, oh, it's 0.008 meters. Let's go to document settings and units and change this to millimeters, which means if it's 0.08, it's probably 7.8 millimeters. It's rounding up to 0.008 or whatever it was. So, okay, now let's do an info from here to here. And it's 7.7. So this doesn't quite match. So 7.7, 7.8 is the Voron CAD, and 7.8 is what you measured on your tap parts, but it sounds like I need to measure on mine. So, and you're right, we're dealing with CAD measurements versus actually printed parts, and there's going to be some variation there. We have 6 minutes until Polymaker filament giveaway time. Pull these out. Add some washers. To be honest, I don't think it's enough to worry about washers. The critical point that clamps together down here, there's no gaps. So if I tighten those down and then just put screws in, whatever screws go in here to firm, then it's going to be fine. And I mean, you've got, you're going to be dealing with any potential over extrusion. Over extrusion is going to very much impact the distance between here and here. And it's also going to impact this surface, this distance here. But let's pull this all the way out and get a better read. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Sampler. Your print settings are going to impact this at all. But what I'm coming back to is Vitali measured a part he has on hand saying this distance here to here is 7.8, but I measured 7.5. So let's get a better measurement on that. So nice and parallel and flat. I got a bad measurement. It is basically 7.8. My bad on measuring over here. Let's try over here. So my measurements were wrong. I apologize. I'm glad we continued investigating this. There is no issue. There are some weird issues with this and the lineup of these parts, but that could be printed part settings too. Lessons learned. Lessons learned. Does the CNC Tap hit that inside corner of the printed part? So this goes on here. Hey, Poity. You'll never get a printer to be on. No, not at all. Not at all. What started was we had a gap here. When we bolted all this together, I was curious why that gap was there. I attempted to measure from the corner here to here. That was apparently a mistake. I was not able to get an accurate measurement there. So hopefully, I mean, we've gone through a process to try to figure out what we were seeing, looking at CAD, looking at the parts. And then this goes on here. So you've got a lot of stack up of parts that can impact that gap. Have I measured the printed parts? So this distance on this part, let's see where we're at. So zero that out. That there. Here, let's go. That flush and held, that is 10 millimeters. All right. That distance on here should be this to that, right? No. Let's turn that off. That distance should be what we were just measuring. So here to here is 10 millimeters. So we're checking with the other end of the verniers. That's what I messed up on the other end. This is what I'm doing here is a far better way to measure this, because you've got a much larger surface to butt up and square up against this than trying to make sure that you're not. So when I was measuring over here, I was probably at an angle and hitting the corner of the tip of the calipers instead of being straight on, because I had a plastic part right here. So then if we look at this and just take a simple measurement across here, we're at about 2.3. If we go across the big wide area of that, and this should be that distance there. So info, that to that is 2.2. So I'm 0.1 millimeters off on that. And that's not, I mean, we're assuming everything is when we're doing all this, we're assuming all this is perfectly flat. And when this holds up to here, all of that is flat. There's a stack up of measurements as we're seeing. Are there any wires between the back of XOL and the tap carriage? Could be pushing the top out a bit. There is this, but they do not appear to, yeah. They are not sticking out at all. Anywhere along there. They're not sticking out. It is giveaway time. It's a minute past giveaway time. I guess we can't do it. Okay, so big false alarm, but it was interesting going through the process to figure that out, right? I hope I didn't give Vitali too much of a heart attack. Raise your blood pressure a little bit. Okay. Level is reminding me of Cloud 42 and Blondie Hex. Running to the link. You better. You got 3 seconds. Oh, yeah. I would like to meet James one day. I enjoy most of his content. Some of it is a little obscure, a little off my interest, but I really like the machining content. Okay, we will be closing the link when I haven't had a new entry in 3 seconds. So, Blondie build. I would love to meet Quinn as well. Typical HP engineer. Okay, so 3, 2, I did more. Got a new one. So 3, 2, 1. There's one. 3, 2, 1. No, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Done. Thanks, Bearded Bucket. How close to the first entry was I? You were second entry. Cheesy Potato. Gotcha. Stuck in a loop. Okay, let's create. Finger assembly wasn't 100% aligned. 2.2 is the 7.8 from the stock boron CAD. Oh, it might not have been, Nuno. I tried, and I'm trying to do it quick here. We've pretty much confirmed to some degree that things are probably in the printed parts and more likely the way they're assembling. I will probably reprint all of that and try again in between. So anyway, Cheesy Potato, you were first. Who got in the last entry? Brain Twist, you got the last one. Let's paste these here. Here. Will you make monolith gantry mod in the future? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not planned out that far. Okay, let's do CNC. Oh, that's neat. Vitali, when did you release this video? You just sent me a video link. Did I get to win this time? I don't know. Do you? Let's do, just because we have to mix it up a bit more, let's do a number between 1 and 20, because that's exciting. 1 and 20. You were the 5th from last, Redacted. Mm-hmm. 3 to 4 weeks ago. Channel is under another user. Oh, okay. CNC Carriage. I gotta pay attention. Let's do. Let's do 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Spin. Folks, do we have here? Right at 200 people. Who do we got? Marcus Hempel. Congratulations. But you gotta be here. Are you here? Marcus, are you here? Congratulations. If you're in the US or Canada, you get a coupon to the US or Canada store. If you're outside, you get to pick a roll of filament to be sent to you. Marcus Hempel. There you are. Congratulations. Let's see. Let's paste this in here. And we look good. Oh, that's an old email address. Live stream locomotive build series like Quinn when. I don't have the equipment. I'd love to have the equipment, but I don't have it. Okay, congratulations, Marcus. You will get an email from me sometime between now and the next stream. No, not quite. Not quite GeoCities. It's from the fruit company, but older. Let's see. Let's unpin. I did spin. I did. And let's delete the link. Hey, James. There we go. Save that. Okay, where are we at? What can we get done? I want to, at the very least, I need to reprint that orbiter part, and I kind of feel like I want to reprint all the XOL parts. They don't take very long. They really don't. There's only 3 parts. There's only 3 parts that I need to print. I feel like I'm over extruding though. I mean, I haven't touched those. Oh, come on, come on. You can do it. Yeah, see? I could, a little PA tuning could be done. Come on, come on. Little PA tuning there in the corner. Is this the new XOL revision that just came out? It is. It is. This is the brand newest one. That's why I put in the last thumbnail, I put all the old parts that I've printed off to the background and said it's the newest one for now. What is, just for fun, docs. 3 weeks ago was the last STL change, and I printed them 1 week ago. So, James, XOL is a completely different toolhead than Afterburner or Stealth Burner. See, this is basically XOL, and then part goes on here, and then a extruder of your choice goes on top of there, and that's basically XOL right there. Dual 4010 fans, 30mm part or hot end fan, and then your choice of hot ends and stuff. Mine is a Rapido. Yep. So the Dragon Burner we will be doing on the Solid Fork series that I don't know when it's going to start, but we'll be rebuilding my Solid Fork. So, watching your videos and chasing perfection got me to notice parts from a video yesterday on ERCF V2 parts. Lots of PA and input shaping and part cooling issues everywhere. Yeah. This filament line, those filaments are tough. So the Solid Fork is going to be done with the 3DO carbon fiber blue ASA as the main color. Undecided on the second color, but maybe a silver or something. Yeah, I don't know exactly what other colors, but I've had that blue slated for the Solid Fork for a while. So I don't have a printer that I'd be planning on putting that on, Vo. Light blue fusion. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. can probably look at this just a little bit. So this a little bit more. The tool head, come on, there we are. This goes in here, and then the cable goes on there. That's a nice tight fit there. That gets zip tied to that, and that's the strain relief now for the Orbital board. So, hey Jonathan. Only thing is the angled fan ducts, they cool the front much better than the back. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Yeah, and that's just supported ugliness. But at least you don't see that from this angle. So many mods. Trying to get there. I think that's there's not a whole lot I can do without reprinting parts. And go from there. So I think we're gonna call it. This is right where we don't have a lot more time that we would spend. And the next parts is finishing putting the toolhead board on so we can get the umbilical into the deck so we can work on some wiring so we can get closer to having this power up. So when you install mainstalled Raspberry Pi, do you also install? I do not. I install everything manually, Dinmore. Using the manual instructions for the various things. So Clipper Screen has a manual install process that's easy to follow. There's a script, it's a couple of commands, and that's it. So now I've heard that Kiao is leaning more towards putting things in default locations and stuff like that. And I do want to revisit it for a fluid install, because that's really the easiest way to install fluid right now. And I do want to redo the fluid image on my green V2. So I'll get some exposure to Kiao with that. But yeah. Thank you as always, and thanks for your help on the pancake build. I keep you up to date. Have fun with that. Is it possible to overcool PLA? The label ledge on my Gridfinity bins are curling up. I don't know if it's possible to overcool PLA. Hey PF Dennis, welcome. Kiao is useful. I mean, it's a scripted push a number, select a menu option, install the things. I have a preference to knowing the manual process. So if I don't do the manual process, then I won't know it. So I won't have a better idea of where things go, how things are done. So that's just my preference. So. We will be back on the black box again on Sunday. I'm not yet sure when the member stream is going to be this month. It is Tuesday. Everybody who has stuck around, thank you. Here are 5 gifted memberships for you. And that finishes the gifted memberships for the month. Get them done early. Otherwise I might forget. So, welcome, new members. Look at that, I sort of remembered it all on my own. See ya, Pathetic Puma. Thanks again. So I guess with that, thank you everybody. Thanks Polymaker for allowing me to give away a roll of filament, and thanks for the folks at gifted memberships. Thanks Daniel for the super chat. Thanks for, I think a couple of people became members. We will hopefully see you on Sunday. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of your week and enjoy the build. Bye.